Oh, right. Okay. So let's do a sound check. All is good. All right. Now let's do yarn develop to run the server. Okay, there's some. Okay, some new stuff, I guess, for yeah, but I don't wanna. Okay. Wow, two people watching. Hi. So let's see. Did we? Is everything right here? So if I go to profile, I'm still logged in, and then I need to log out. All right. Now I need to log in again. I'm just trying out. Invalid password. Okay, interesting. Forget what's the. Let's see. One more time. What the heck? Probably forget the password here. Let's try. Or did I use this? Let's go to Netlify and then see. That's what happened when you leave a project for like just a few days. Staying at home club. Which email I used? Okay, that's okay. So this should work now. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. All right, let me sign up again with user. This email address has already been registered, but I'm only seeing one email. What's going on? Okay, send a reset email password. All right, and then I will go here and then check. Yeah, I have the reset password, and then I will do the reset here. Okay. But how do I do the recovery? This is weird. All right, let me delete this user entirely. And I guess we need to go to Heroku and probably clean up some users in there, and then let me see. Okay, let's go to the data, users, and delete this user. Okay, so we're all should be good. Let's use the same email again. I'm not sure what is going on here. Maybe I need to reload, because clearly we don't have any user in here. Login, sign up. I'm not sure what's going on. Forget password. Okay. And there's this reset password. Interesting. Okay. Did I use a different maybe? Okay. So when we do a clear localhost and set a new one here, and then let's do a sign up again. Okay, now it works. Yeah, I think this is just a cookie stuff, and I had a different project running the same port, and that led to this thing. So now, if I refresh and log in, all right. Cool. So here's what we did last time. We had this profile detail, app home, and then we have the login, which we redirect to profile if you're not logged in, and then there's like a logout button. So first thing I was maybe we're going to do is maybe go to app home in here and then have maybe app home. We have a list of posts, like something like Reddit or wherever, and then with some votes, and people can if you're logged in, you can create a new post. How about that? So if I go to Hasura, let's add a table, call it posts, I guess. It will have an ID, and this should be UID. Let me scroll a bit. Gen random, yeah, it's gonna be this, and it's gonna be unique, I guess. And then here we will have something like title, and the title is gonna be text and not nullable. Here will be okay, content, or yeah, let's call it content, and that's gonna be text. And then we can have like a user ID or author ID. Let's call it user ID. And then we can add these frequently used columns like created at and updated at. So these are Very useful always to have. I don't need this update. Primary key will be the ID, and then we add a foreign key and user from user ID to ID, I guess. And then we hit save in here, I guess, and then I can do add table. What? Invalid type, blah of column user ID. Yeah, sure. This should be text. Then add table. So if you go to the GraphQL here, and then let's delete these mutations. And I guess we can have like, I think we need to configure this thing. There's it, users, like post, modify. Yeah, I think computed fields. No, not the computed fields. Totally forgot how to. So, relationships. Yeah, so here you can see it detected this relationship, so we can add it, and then this is gonna be user. So now if we go here, you can see indeed that a post, we can from the post like pull the user, and then it's gonna be like, we will ask for like, okay, title user, give me the user and stuff like that. And let's set some permissions. So by default, there's the admin stuff in here, and then there's these new roles. So okay, so we have these tables. Yeah, but before we go to permissions, I think we need to authenticate some stuff using both like Hasura and an endpoint. And to do that, Hasura, I think Netlify identity or something. There was some. Let's see. My videos are appearing here now. Cool. So this one we did in the identity sign up. Is it? Yeah, where we insert the user and so on. And then we need to create an auth webhook. So, Hasura role user. Where's this user ID? Netlify automatically decode GWT token, and if token is supplied properly, then we will be able to get the user object. If not, then we'll start to role anonymous. So this one should be validate user. So let's go to the lambda src here and then add another Netlify function. Let's call it validate user. And in here we will have this custom role. I think I have Axios instead of fetch. But do we even need fetch in here? Like, I don't see it used. Yeah, I don't think it's used here. Like, we don't even need it. So let's see. Yeah, so we get the identity, and then there, if there is the user, we get the ID, and then we return this with the user ID. Otherwise, we return anonymous, so it's like an authenticated user. And then, okay, and then user ID. Now, the last thing left to do is to add Hasura GraphQL Auth Hook environment variable to Heroku or any other environment. Okay, so I'm gonna take this, copy it, and then get this out of the screen because we'll be showing all the environment variables. And then I need to go to Heroku. App.hero, I think. Let's go to my dashboard and then pick my app, which is Staying at Home Club. So here's like it just show you the things, and then we need to go to settings, and then here I need to reveal these config bars, but out of this screen basically. Now I need to add this Hasura GraphQL Auth token, and then this would be so let me add Hasura Auth Webhook. So this Netlify function will be used by Hasura every time we send a request to their GraphQL endpoint. It will check against this validate user, and then it will, based on this is when a user is authenticated, so it exists inside of the users table, and it's also authenticated through Netlify. And if not, we will have this anonymous, so this means that the user is not even connected. So we will push that. And now hopefully through the identity functions, we should see another one after this deploy is done. And let's see. So it shouldn't take that much because our app is still very simple, doesn't have anything crazy. And so far we had two Netlify functions, like Lambda functions. One is about detecting when a user signs up and then syncs the data with the Hasura database. And this one is to be called by Hasura to authenticate the user. So that's that. So if we go back to our functions, and indeed here we have our validate user JS, and this is the link that we need to set as the webhook. So I will go here and click it and click add, and then hide the config, bring it back here. I already revealed and add everything in here, so should be good to go. Let's open the app. All right, and then let's continue with the blog post. So here it's doing the signups. We have that, and I think they added like a part 2 or something. But what I'm interested in is let's go to permissions. So now we need to set some permissions in here in the table, in both tables. So once, if any user is requesting something, they need to be connected. So all right, let's go to here, go to permissions, and then I think this role should be, I'm not totally sure if we should call it, so let's get this one here. Yeah, so we need to have this basic access control. Yeah, role user. Yeah, exactly. We need this role here. Okay. So here we need the user. For users, we don't need the permissions for insert. So insert will be there. For select, we will allow the user to get only the data that they own. So basically only your data you can get, but then the rest should not be there. So you can't access any user, for example, like every user. So with custom check, and then here ID is equal to this Hasura user ID, and you can get the email and then probably the name. I mean, select, you can basically, like, it's a read only, so you can read all of this. For update, with the same check as select, so you need to have this ID, and you can only update the email and the name. You can't update the ID. And delete. Let's leave delete for now, because maybe, and then let me make this a bit bigger. Let's go to posts and then go to permissions. User as user, so you can insert with a custom check, and then I guess we just need to have exists user where ID is equal to this. So here we need to make sure that the user actually exists to be able to add to the table. And they can, where is it? Was this like insert? So they can update the title, the content. And that's it. But also with the insert, I think we can column preset. We can have the user ID to be from session variable. And then here we'll have user ID, or just. So here the user ID will be filled automatically from the session. So we don't need to do anything. Like we don't need to send the user ID, for example, every time. So for selection, I guess you can see like all the stuff without permissions. Update with a custom check, and then this needs to be, the user ID needs to be equal to this, the session ID, to be able to update. And you only can update the title and then the content. And you save the permission here. And then for deletion, you only need to, the user ID needs to be from the session to be able to delete stuff. So I think we're all set in terms of permissions in here, and we have our own user already synced up and good to go. So let's now we have that. Let's go to Gatsby browser and set up some more stuff. So here we need to set up Apollo GraphQL, and for the sake of time, I already done this like 10 million times. So what we can do is just go and copy some code from what I did in here. So we will need few dependencies, I guess, which is Apollo. So let's do yarn add Apollo React hooks, Apollo, I don't know, like Apollo link, Apollo, where is it? So we need also this Apollo. So we need this Apollo link HTTP. Oh my God. Okay. Apollo, a lot of Apollo dependencies. Cache in memory, and then Apollo link. I think that's it for now. Yeah, okay. I mistyped something. Okay. Let's see now. Yeah. It's installing. And while that's installing, let's just copy these things here. So basically here what I'm trying to do is just configuring Apollo and inject the authentication token in the Apollo provider. So we can do, and then also I need to set up like here and then here. Yep. I need to set up Apollo in here because I want to wrap the entire app with Apollo client, because if you use, for example, go to layout and then use the provider in there, Gatsby actually is unmounting and mounting the layout over and over again. So that might not be ideally. We don't want to initialize the Apollo client every time we navigate from one page to another. So it's best to have like a provider wrapping the entire app, and it's done just once. And to wrap the Gatsby element, like the Gatsby app, we need to export this wrap root element and then give it Apollo provider. So here, what I can do is go to my new endpoint, copy this, put it here. This probably can be done through an environment variable also. So, and then we have this. Let's see if this is correct. Get current user. I think this is not correct. So let's see. src, utils, and then auth. Okay, now this is correct. And then we have the get current user, hopefully. Yeah, which is from here. Alrighty. So that's that. What we can do, what we will do actually here is when the app is mounting, we will take a look at the user. If it's authenticated, we add this authorization header. with the bearer and the access token. And then every time Apollo will send a request, it will send this header with this bearer token. And here Hasura will check this header, get the token, send it back to validate user in here. Netlify will decode the JWT token and then provides the ID. And then if there's an ID, this means that this user exists and is authenticated. So it will set the role as user and then send this user ID. Otherwise, if it's not authenticated or doesn't exist, it will be anonymous and our user won't be able to do anything, basically. And all of this is done behind the scene because now we don't need actually to do any checks or authentication stuff. We just send the request and then Hasura will handle all the things for us. So we don't need to do that. Here what I did is we have a HTTP link and I created a middleware for this HTTP link. And then here I set the context to carry on this header for it. And then I forward the operation. And here we set up the client and then we do a wrapper, like an Apollo provider that wraps everything. And then we inject the client. So every element in here will have access to the hooks that we will use for Apollo GraphQL. So now, if we go to the pages and then app in here, let's see. So I want to have this default app in here. So what we can do is, I don't know if we can extract this already using Visual Studio Code, but I'm not sure. Okay, maybe refactor. Extract function, move to a new file. Oh, okay. Interesting. And yeah. Okay, let's see. So we should move it to components default, but I mean, it's good enough. And then I hate uppercase stuff. So let's see. This one will move to inside component. Where is it? Yeah, I just want to move it and then rename it to default. All right. Let's see, default here. And probably we can do export. Default, and we don't need this. And it should type default correctly. And here, this is default export, so we don't need to extract anything. And then here, let's do a return. Let's make sure this still works. Detail profile app home. Okay. Why it's okay? Of course, because I need to do yarn develop again. What? Why is it complaining about yarn? SRC is not there. Anyway, so let's see. Still in progress. Can't resolve Apollo client. Why? Okay, maybe. Yeah, sometimes it happens with Gatsby when you install a new dependency, stuff just disappear. Ah, yeah, okay. I didn't install Apollo client. That's true. That's true. My bad. Sorry, computer. Okay. Of course, yarn develop. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow. Chrome Becky, right? Is that correct? Okay, let's see what's going on in here. Okay, must be in scope when using JSX. Gatsby browser 73. Where is it? Yeah, okay, maybe we need to import React, of course. Okay, import React from give me React. Okay. All right, so we are authenticated still. All is good. Let's go to this default now. Bring this down a bit. So let's kind of return this. And then let's go to, I think also in Rubber Goose we did some stuff. Private route, screen, blah, 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 plans, post editor. Okay, this is the editor. Maybe it's inside of dashboard. We use some, yeah. So do we need another? Okay, GraphQL tag. Oh my God, okay. Yeah, we need this GraphQL tag to use the GQL function. And basically here we need to import a few things from Apollo. So we will use query. We only need use query from there, and this will be from Apollo React hooks. And here we can do a const. It's gonna be get. Where is it? Posts. Since we called it posts, and then we will need to GQL will it. And now it doesn't recognize that yet. GQL from GraphQL tag. So this will be GQL, and then let's get this query. And an easy way to get our query is to test it in this awesome graphical explorer. So this one will be, okay, query, get maybe posts, and then I want to get the name of the user, and then the title maybe created at, and then updated at. I might do, okay, also like maybe we need the content. And let's get the ID as like a unique identifier. Usually we also make slags or something. So here's the query. We can copy this, throw it in here. We have our query, all is done. So now what we need to do is to call the use query inside of the function. So this will be a const, and we have an object of loading. This is when we are still loading the data, errors in case of there's some error, and then data when we get the actual data, and then we'll be calling the use query, and then we give it the get posts query. And then here we can pass in some data, and I think some of the data can be, what is it, poll interval. Let's say, okay, we want to update every 2 seconds, maybe, something like that. And now here we can do, okay, if loading, so in case of loading, we return, where is it, span, like for now, we will do, okay, we're loading. All right. And then here we say, okay, if error, we need to return maybe a pre-tag, and we want to JSON stringify the error. Obviously, in a real world app, you would handle this much nicer. So if we're loading, we're gonna be loading. If there's an error, we will return error. Otherwise, we assume here that we have our data, and then the data will be, here we'll have, where is it? This is the default. So maybe I should create another like a post component here, just inline it. And then here we will have to, so inside of the post, I guess we'll expect the data. It's gonna be like post. And then here we will have something like return, and then h3. This will be post dot title, and probably we can do by post dot user dot name. So this is from our query, and then here we can have div, and this div will have the post dot content, something like this. And obviously we need to wrap everything probably in a div or something, just to make it kinda nice. And here I assume we will have like, okay, another div that wraps everything, and then we'll do data dot post. Is it posts? It's gonna be posts. And then here I need to map this. And then here I will get a post, and then I will create a post, and then give it the post, I guess, or maybe just call it P for easy access. And this is supposed to be our data. So if everything is fine, here we should, okay, first get the error. ID not found in type posts. Why ID is not found in type posts? Because it doesn't. And I guess, yeah, definitely we can. So GraphQL actually supports. So first of all, hi, Primal Crew. Yeah, so for GraphQL, it's possible to do also CRUD operations, and that's exactly what we will do here. Right now, I'm just reading, but I can actually push some changes, and that's called mutations. So if you go to GraphQL and search for mutations, you can actually create some data using GraphQL. And I'm actually about to show that like right now. So let me just set up some permissions. Yeah, okay, now it's save the permissions. Okay, so we actually wanna create. Okay, here's the thing. So if you go to Explorer, and I want to do a mutation. So this is the syntax of a mutation. Oh, come on. What's going on here? Explore again. All right. So in post, there is not the query. I want a mutation. Okay, come on. Posts. No, this is, okay, let me check the permissions again. So post, let's go to permissions, insert. So that's that. Yeah, we can do this. The user ID is equal to this. And then, yeah, okay. And then we allow only that. So let's go to GraphQL again. And here I want mutation, and then, I need to hit plus. So you see here, we have insert posts. So this depends on every GraphQL layers, because you can name these as you want. Since this is like Hasura and it's a generic thing, it will always generate these stuff like insert underscore the name of the table. So here what we want to do is have a title, and let's call it hello, maybe world, and then we can add the content, like this is some content, right? And let me go back here. And then if we go to our app, local storage, and then expand this. So here I can actually get this access token. And then this will be X Hasura. No, I think this should be authentication, and this will be bearer, and then the access. Not, I don't think it's the whole story there. Okay, maybe we can go into detail here. Token, access token. So let me grab all of this. So this is the token. This is what identifies the user. This is a manual process that I'm doing right now, but will work in the code already. So here's the token, and this is and this should be, sorry, authorization. All right, you can see here now I can actually do that, and you can see the permissions that I set are applied. So insert post objects, and I want to get the affected rows. So here's a mutation. So basically mutation is you need to specify first its mutation. So this is for your server to know, okay, now I'm mutating things, I'm changing things. So if it's like a normal query, like a read only, it would be called query. But for mutation, it's gonna be mutation. And then inside of mutation, you will have different nodes, because now I can actually do like more stuff. Like I can insert other stuff in the same query. That's also possible. Here I'm asking my server, okay, I want to do mutation. I want to insert to this post node, and I want to give it the title and then the content, and give me back the affected rows. So basically here, instead of affected rows, I could probably also do, okay, I don't want to have the affected rows, but I want to get back the content and the title, like the new content and title. And then if you hit play, you can see here I inserted stuff into my table. And then if we go to the database and go to posts, you can see here I actually inserted the post. And this is coming from my session. So the user ID was pre-filled by default, and other stuff like the created ad and updated ad. So yeah, this is actually the mutation, and we will add it in here. We'll have a form to do that. So I haven't, let's focus a bit on here, this one. Since we added polling, you can see here we actually pulled in the first post. This is kind of, I mean, we could also use subscription, but for now we can use polling. So every 2 seconds, we tell Apollo GraphQL to pull some data, and then we will render it in here. So we have this first element in here, but if we add another one, let's go back to our mutation again and call this, okay, this is another post, and then push it here. And you can see here it's already like available here. So that's like also a great thing about GraphQL. We can also do some polling, or through subscription, we can show data really quickly. So that's really awesome. All right, so let's leave that for a second and then come here. You can see I already added like listing the posts, but I want to also add another component that will allow us to add posts through user input. So let's do another one inline in here. So let's do export. We don't need to export it. Let's call it post editor or something like that. And then this will basically be a component with a form, basically. So let's do a form. And what does this form do? Okay. Form. And in here, let's do, so let's have a label. And then HTML. So we'll have something like, okay, I want this label to be for the title, and then here we'll have title. And then obviously we will have an input. Input of type, what is it? Text. And the type text, and then we give it the name, title, maybe ID also title. Okay, and a placeholder, insert a title, something like that. And then we can copy this and then change the title to something else. This can be content. And then content. And then let's have this post editor also inside of this div. Let's see if we can see it. You can see here we have like title and something like that. Maybe we need to wrap this into a paragraph so it will do some line break. And okay, this is okay. Okay, there's some line break. We will worry about styling maybe a bit later. And then here we will have a button of type submit. And then we can do call it create. All right, so this is that's that. And now we can do first have a like a state. So maybe you can have like post and then set post. And this will be using this state. And then let's auto import it. And by default, we will have title empty and content empty. And now what we can do is handle change, I guess. And this will have an event. And what we can do is, okay, here we need to set post. And then we can give it the post. And then here will be, okay, e.target dot name equal to e.target dot value. And then for every input we'll have on change. On change will send this function. And then here. So we're setting that. And then let's see. Yeah, and then probably, where is it? I think current or default value. Default value will be, here is like post.title, and then the other one will be post.content. And then if I type in some stuff, yeah. And then on the form, we can do on submit. Then we have handle submit. And then our handle submit here will be a function again that accepts the event. Here we need to prevent the default, prevent default, and let's for now console log the post. Let's console log this post and then see. Let's open up our console. Yeah, we have the content. Yeah, all is good. So now we have this state. So here we need to do, okay, to do send mutation. So let's import use mutation again, and then here we will export our query, which is set post, and this will be GQL, and then the following query, which thankfully we already did here. And here this will be mutation set post, or yeah, maybe also like create would be more useful for us. So we wanna do this. We probably don't need this returning, but I mean for now, instead of this, maybe we can have. I want to have the affected rows, which will be like just a number, how many rows are affected. Okay, so here's the mutation, and for the mutation, where is it? Apollo. Use mutation. Here, this is the example. So we will have this in here. So I'm gonna go to the post editor and then have, okay. So we will need the create post, and then the data that's coming from that. And this would be use mutation, and then we will have the where is it? Was it insert? What's the name of our query now? Set post. So we set this. Now we have this function that we can actually call in here. So we will do that, and you can see that here we need to send the variables with input dot value is something, and then input dot value with a type. Here we need to do create posts, and then it's a function, and it has variables. Inside of variables, we need to actually change a little bit our mutation, which is here we need to define the two fields that we need to pass. So first thing is we need a title, which is of type string, and it's required. And then the second is content, and it's also of type string, and it's required. And then here, instead of just title, we can do title and then content. So that's how you pass in variables like dynamic content to your GraphQL mutations. And then here we name them title and then content. We need to go also to our call of mutations, and then here we'll have basically we can just spread the post state because it has title and content right here, like title and then content. All right, so we need to remove this to do. And if everything is all right, let's just refresh to make sure. Okay, something is, okay, key is fine. We can, okay, this is a third post. Some more and more content. Here we can have a text area. So let's hit create. And obviously after we create this post, we can do set post. And then make this empty. Just to, we hit create. So you can see here it's no such type exists, schema strong. Okay. Obviously I made a typo in there. Let's hit create again. Everything is fetched. And you can see this is my, like this is another post, for example. Yeah, this is like, this is by, okay. Something is not totally right here. This is some content, hello world. This is another one. Okay, let's see. So let's go to our database and make sure we actually added that. Ah, okay, interesting. We didn't actually send any data. Why though? Ah, because I think this is an async. I'm not sure, but no, it's weird. Okay. Let's try again. So I think I was, did I? So let me log in again. And then go to app home. This is a real post. I just created this and then create. Yeah. Yeah, I needed to await that before like setting this thing to an empty, but it, no, I think this is, okay. Where is it? So I think they have some options that you can pass to the mutation on complete. So probably in here, no, inside of here, we can do on complete. So it has the variable and then on completed. So here in the onCompleted, we don't need that parameter for now. We will call this set post, and then we will set the state to an empty, to the empty value. Let's have 2 and then hit create. And this didn't. Why this didn't set the state again too? Should this be value? Maybe. And then here, create. This didn't set. What's going on? Insert title, insert title, insert. Come on, I just wanna set this to empty. How hard can it be? All right. Okay, this apparently is not. Post the title and then post content. So let's do more data, create, yeah. And this is the data. All right. So what we have right here is at least the beginning of our social network app. So people can log in or log out. We have some Hasura permission set up. You can insert some content, create a post. We will have this post in here. And it's all working great. So you can go to posts here and then see, okay, let me refresh. You can see how many I created and they all like show up in here in the list. And so we did some querying, we did some mutation. I think the next time we will look at the profile, probably do some styling and add some commenting interface on this. So we link posts to comments and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think that's it for tonight. I hope you learned something, and as usual, like the code is actually, where is it? In Git. I need to browse this one. You will find all the code in here. Here's in the chat. And yeah, hopefully maybe tomorrow or the day after I will complete, continue with this. But other than that, thank you for tuning in and see you around. Bye bye.